Hi everyone. My name is Jerry Wise, and I want to talk today about narcissistic parents and how they fail to prepare you for a healthy adult life. And please watch the whole video. At the end, I've got some self-differentiation helps and tips for you at the end of the video. So how did they not prepare you for a healthy adult life? And again, one of the things is if we can understand how they didn't do it, then we can get insight in how we can do it today for ourselves. First of all, they programmed a malignant normalcy. And that was done by a whole different, many means where we view the world and have subjectivity about the world that's all broken, unclear, fearful, mistrusting, all those things. And even abuse, where abuse is normal. That's malignant normalcy. And I think also when people, and myself as well, when I discovered my family had its issues, I realized I had thought it had not had issues for so long. That's a part of that malignant normalcy that just kind of blinds us to seeing what's really going on. Second of all, they will do this programming by a lack of emotional support. Narcissistic parents focus on their needs and emotional needs and not yours, especially during the crucial development as children, when we're growing up, our difficult times through adolescence, and then even launching into adulthood and being launched into the world often gets mucked up because of the narcissism in the family. Thirdly, poor role modeling. If this is the model of relationships that we're seeing, then again, this is very difficult for us to learn what is a healthy relationship. What do healthy adults do? And if there's unhealthy coping mechanisms, unhealthy communication issues, problematic interpersonal relationships, which narcissistic parents often have, and even between them as mom and dad. And that what we find is that this role modeling becomes a real problem for us because we don't have a healthy role model. We may learn a few things from other friends' parents, from teachers, fortunately from other people who might influence in our life, thank heavens. But at home, it will be pretty messed up. Fourthly, conditional love. That's something we learn, teaching children that love and acceptance are conditional, based on achievement or compliance with the parents' demands rather than it being unconditional. You're loved no matter what. Even if you misbehave, even if you do something wrong, even if you hurt someone, you're still loved. We may need to get you some help. We may get to, but you are still loved in this family. And often that was not the case. Fifthly, underdeveloped social skills. Due to limited exposure to healthy social interactions or being kept in overly controlled environments, children might struggle with forming and maintaining friendships. No, you can't go over to Mary's house. No, I don't want you staying all night with any one of your friends. No, I don't want you doing this. And then they're not role modeling good, healthy relationships. Well, I'm not going to develop very well in terms of my social skills. I'm going to start feeling awkward going to parties. And I remember how difficult it was for me to go to parties. I felt so alone, so awkward. I'm sure some of it could have, during the adolescent years, that could have been part of it as well, certainly. But I just had trouble with crowds and being with other people. And fortunately, I've been able to continue a long way past that, which I'm very grateful. Still have some social anxiety, but not that would keep me from doing anything. And I also have learned ways to be able to connect with a larger group of people in a healthier way. Sixth, difficulty with boundary setting. Growing up without clear understanding of personal boundaries, leading to challenges in asserting oneself in personal and professional relationships. So he didn't have those boundaries then. Then we get into our professional life. And I've had bosses and coworkers in hospitals and places where I've worked that really were relating to other people based on what they didn't learn growing up. And they would seem and appear very awkward. I think about a boss that I had that, she was in her 40s, but actually socially, she was about junior high age. And I thought, such a shame, so difficult must be for her. But it caused us a lot of disruption and a lot of problems. Number 7, struggles with self-identity. Again, we're all about pleasing the narcissistic parent and their preferences, their desires, their goals. Well, what's my identity? Who am I? What do I want? What do I want to be when I grow up? Can I have preferences? Can I like broccoli or not like broccoli? Can I like chocolate ice cream versus vanilla ice cream? And I remember that being used with my brother and I, because there would be a constant reminder of you and your brother are just so unlike. You like chocolate and he likes vanilla. And that was actually true. But it's like, well, is that bad? I mean, can we be different? And why do we need to point out that difference? Is there a shaming issue behind that? Why does that matter whether we are different in that way? Number 8, fear of failure. We ended up learning fears of failure growing up. And many folks, and in fact, I knew people in school when I was in high school, junior high, and sometimes even in college. They didn't make straight A's because they particularly wanted to, though they enjoyed the benefits of that. But they were so afraid of failing that they made A's. So a fear of failure prompted the A's, particularly if you have a family who's very high pressured and wants you to do this profession or that profession, that you'd better not fail. You better not get a B. You can't get into medical school if you get a C on that. And just all the pressure that was put on them growing up. 9, challenges in emotional regulation. And again, we're exposed to extreme emotional environments where people around us have difficulty managing their emotions and regulating themselves, leading to potential anxiety, depression, emotional detachment, where I just want to cut off from everybody. And again, if you're around that kind of emotional dysregulation, then that will really create an emotional environment in which we struggle with our own emotional regulation. And we'll also be hypervigilant and problems such as that. Number 10, inadequate life skills. We're not taught how to, either we're over pampered, neglected, leaves us without life skills. I remember in working with a number of folks who were incarcerated at the time, and they're like 25, maybe 30. Did you ever get your driver's license? Well, no. Well, then why? You were driving all that time? Yes. Nobody ever took me to the driver's license place. Didn't know how to do it. Didn't know how to study for it. Didn't know what was needed for that. They grew up in a poverty situation where there just wasn't that. And that can happen even in a more resourced family if you have a narcissistic parent who's just not paying attention. And they're only paying attention to their own issues. And so we can then grow up and then not feel confident about life tasks. I even have a friend who had a difficult time setting a dental appointment. It just was never done, and no one ever showed someone how to do it or when to do it or when it's appropriate. And that was, growing up in an alcoholic home, narcissistic home that they were growing up in. They didn't get those skills. Number 11, trust issues. Constant manipulation or betrayal by the narcissist parent can still instill deep-seated trust issues. And we feel, and that can affect future relationships because we don't trust. I never learned to trust. I never thought I ever could trust. And again, I have lots of people even who comment on my YouTube videos and they'll say, I don't trust anyone. I will never trust anyone. And I go, oh, what a shame. How awful that is. But I understand why you feel that way. But please heal what's inside of you so you can trust people who are not there to take advantage of you. And there are people like that. 12, seeking external validation. And again, that's being other-focused rather than self-focused or inner-focused. And that's what we are taught, and that keeps us from having a healthy adult life. In dealing with all of these, I've got a program down below I want you to take a look at, Road to Self. It is a great investment. You will not regret signing up for that. I really suggest you do that. I'm bringing 45 years of my experience to that program so you can learn to be a healthy you in spite of a narcissistic family, dysfunctional family. So what are some self-differentiation helps? And here I'll give you some tips. There's many more in the program. Now it is your job to prepare you for adulthood. Let's not just bemoan all that our parents did not do and how our family set us up for failure in adulthood. Let's now take responsibility, and it's now my job to prepare me for my adulthood. Learn more about what is dysfunctional, and that you can go on YouTube, find out about narcissistic families, find out about trauma. You can learn many things like that. Second of all, learn more about what is normal and what is healthy so you can do some comparison from what you have grown up with. What were your family rules? What were the spoken and unspoken rules of your family? And are those normal? Well, how would you know? That's where we got to learn. Well, what is normal out there? I like the books like Margaret Paul, P-A-U-L, Margaret Paul's book, Inner Bonding. Extraordinary Relationships by Roberta Gilbert. There are Friel, F-R-I-E-L, books on what is normal, and read things that kind of give you an idea. This is what healthy is. This is what normal is. And I also have a reading list on my website. You can write to the website or write to me, and you can go to the website and find the page under resources about those books that would help you. And remember, I think it's important to learn more things before you start practicing. Use the work of self-differentiation to practice maturity and calmness and less reactivity, because self-differentiation is about learning how to be self-aware, self-defined, and self-regulated. Those things are very important for healthy adulthood. We weren't taught those things in a narcissistic family growing up. And reactivity is one of the big barriers to being an adult. Calmness frees us. Reactivity hurts and keeps us stuck. High anxiety hurts and keeps us stuck. Calmness can help free us. And when I say calmness, I don't mean passivity. I don't mean weakness. I don't mean codependency. I mean calmness in a way of being in control of myself. I hope that you'll subscribe, comment, and like this video. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day and be wise.